What's up, everybody? What's up, man? Kyle, what's going on? Jerry, morning to you. Daniel, Dimitri, Matinda. Yeah, so, all right. So I posted that obviously for conversational purposes, but we'll get into that. Is that comment there? What's up, Clubber? Are you using the Melvin Davis Nugs? Oh, I'm not right now. What's up, Andre? Wake up, Frankers. Yeah, let me know where y'all are watching from. Appreciate y'all that already done it. Kenya, I see you in the building. Appreciate that. To Boho. Got a lot of Africa watching this morning, I see. Dayton, Ohio, what's up, man? California. Auckland. What's up, folks? I see you. Demetri said Kansas City, but our young on the road drive trucking, so Minneapolis at the moment. Okay, got you. I get it. What's up, good sir? Tyrone, what's up, man? Mastercraft, greetings to you. Yeah, I was wondering, what is RSA? I don't know what that is. Mastercraft, greetings to you, man. All right. Okay, South Africa. I've been watching a lot of videos from over that way, man. Y'all have some really nice stuff. I've been seeing a lot of the worship video. I don't know what part of South Africa it is, but I can't think of my guy's name. It starts. I gotta find it, because if I try to pronounce it, I'm gonna butcher it. But it's a lot of great music coming from that way, and I was really blown away by the stuff I've been seeing from Africa, from South Africa, the presentations, the videos that I've been running up on YouTube. So some good stuff there. Ryan, what's up, man? Love the videos. Fat question for you: how do you structure your practices on electric? Good question, man. I'm not that structured anymore when it comes to my practices. I guess it's at this point my practices are more centered around need to know type stuff, and other than that, it's more so I'm learning as I go, practicing stuff as I need to work on it. And that's probably a terrible way to be doing it at this point in time, but I guess because I put so much time in years earlier, it's kind of like when I need to brush over something or when I need to go through something and clean a certain area, I'm noticing areas of my plan. Like even now when I'm playing, most of the time I put it this way. This is a better way for me to answer the question. I have a better idea of what I need to work on after hearing myself play. So it's not like I start out and just, oh man, I want to work on scales all day today. It's like I don't even come at it with that standpoint. But if I'm recording, because I spend a lot of time recording, if I'm recording something and I notice I'm having some trouble spots, like, or even now when I'm, doing certain things, I might be in a lesson or something like that, and a student asks me about something, and they trigger a thought. Oh, okay, I ain't even thought about that. I need to work on that. So let me go back through a few weeks ago, and it's probably actually a few months ago at this point. A student asked me about the different shapes of the pentatonics, and going through all of just the different, the different moves of the pentatonic. And I had to go back and learn that and go back and practice through there because that's something I hadn't touched for a while. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to definitely go back and touch that because it's stuff you kind of normally do it when you're not thinking about it, but when you have to pay attention to it and say, oh, okay, it's just kind of going like using different shapes of the pentatonic, just playing all those five shapes. I wasn't thinking about it that way, so I had to go back and structure my practice around that particular subject so that I could work on cleaning it up for myself so I could give it to you guys. But for the most part, it's like I'm not really mechanical in my thinking. At least I don't try to be. It's kind of like a need to basis. I need to learn this song. Okay, that's a tough lick in this song. Let me figure out how to play this song. And it's different things that come up periodically with me that I'll start working on. There was a season that's just now this is just a particular season that I'm in right now. I do go through those phases and I do go through those seasons where okay, I'm focusing in on this. I'm focusing in on really improving on my tone. I'm focusing in on really improving on my my speed or my being clean with everything that I'm doing. So I'll go through different seasons. Like right now, that's just where I'm at. I'm not necessarily focusing on anything in particular. I'm doing good to just keep practicing, to just keep something going, to keep recording, keeping my sound clean, keeping my sound current, those type things, and just playing. I think I focus more on just being consistent with playing more so than always having a topic when I sit down. Now, I would advise in the early stages of your playing that you do have some type of outlook, some type of goal that you're trying to accomplish when it comes to your practice. You can't be random and all over the place when you're first starting in those early years, and that I will say in the beginner to intermediate stages, you kind of want to have a little bit more structure, simply because you're trying to accomplish a lot more in a shorter amount of time. So the more structured you can be in those early times, the better. And I guess I wouldn't say, I don't want to say it this way, but it is what it is. The more accomplished you become, you don't really just get to just completely relax from practicing. You still have to practice, but that structure, you're able to kind of wiggle around a little bit more. Not saying you've arrived or anything like that, but you're able to kind of lay back a little bit more, have a little bit more leeway, if that answers your question. So I want to make sure I get through everybody because I haven't been on in a while, so I know I'm gonna have a good bit of questions. All right. So Michael, what's up, man? Michael says, how do you get gigs after a couple of years of layoff? And I'm gonna get to some of that stuff as well. So, K Oliver, I'm gonna come back to these questions. I just want to read through everybody really quick. K Oliver, what's up, dude? Keith, hey Jay, good seeing you. Hope all is well. I'm good, man. No complaints here. Andre, JHB, oh Johannesburg, got you. How do you get gigs after? Okay, same question. Good morning. What's up, Vic? Good morning, bro. Good to see you. Good to see your name. Good to see your name pop up on the screen. Thanks so much, man. So what I'm gonna have to do, I see I'm gonna have to do this now. I'm gonna have to do another Zoom masterclass. Y'all gonna have to come and do a Zoom masterclass with me because I really, really enjoyed those few master classes I done about a month or two ago, where I was able to see people on the other side of the screen. I enjoy going live when I do on YouTube, but I really, really enjoyed being able to see your faces, be able to put a face with a name, and hearing you talk, hearing your stories about how you've been doing, especially during this time, during the COVID 19 pandemic, so to speak. So getting to one of the questions that I was asked about, all right, how do you basically come back and get gigs after a couple of years of layoff? It's about relationship. The biggest thing is relationship. Now you could work on your chops and work on your playing and all that stuff. That's a default. I mean, you should already know, okay, you need to keep your playing up. So when you do land a gig, you can actually play the music. So that's automatic. You should know to kind of stay on your playing, stay up on your playing. I get it. Little quick story. really quick, I seen one of my guys was commenting, said he was in a truck. Who was that earlier? Said he was in a Demetric said he was in a truck. It's a funny story. So this pandemic, just to show you that all of us are being affected by it in some form or fashion. I stepped in a truck for a little while. I actually still have my CDLs. I mentioned that to you guys. If you watch some of my old videos, I mentioned that before. But I actually got in the truck for a little while and just did the trucking thing recently. So I get it. And Dimitri, man, and any other truckers, because I know I got a lot of truckers that watch me and that follow my videos. My hat's off to you guys that do that. I had been out for a while. Like I had been out of trucks, man. It had been at least 12 years since I've done it, and to have to do that and just see the wear and tear that it places on you, and being, the mental strain that it put on you as well. My hat goes off to you guys who are out there doing that, trying to provide for your family. Like I said, being a professional musician exclusively for the last 12, 13 years, I had kind of got away from that. So part of my perspective on that was slightly blurred due to the fact that I had been out of it so long, and I didn't know how much everything had changed, man, in the last 10 years as it relates to trucking, or just in any industry for that matter. I'm saying trucking because recently I done that, just as another means of income for a minute. But so again, my hat to you guys that are watching, that you are in a truck, man. Encouragement. I'm sending encouragement your way to keep going. Just keep yourself up. Try to stay healthy. The main thing I noticed out there when I was driving is it's almost impossible to eat healthy when you're in a truck. Like, it's no options. Y'all got no food options. Like, those truck stops is like it's all fried food, all stuff that's going to kind of jack you up. And looking at some of those other truckers, a lot of these cats are out of shape, and I get it. A lot of them, if you're going from one place to the next place, waiting on the next load, that kind of thing, you rarely have any time to work out. So I know it's a tough balance. It's a tough act for a lot of you guys that are trying to do this. And again, some of you guys that are on other jobs, working 9 to 5s, it's a blessing to have a job during this time where most musicians are out of work. Most musicians are not gigging, as some of you guys have already mentioned. Most of you guys are not gigging. Most of you guys are not working. So having some other type of means of income is very important. It's very, very important, especially in a season like this. And I think there's a wake-up call coming here, and not coming. There's a wake-up call to a lot of the musician community. Fortunately, I've been building for a while, and so I've been had something as opposed to not having absolutely nothing when this pandemic hit. So being able to kind of establish my website and production and other things that I do outside of playing a gig, having some other means of income outside of that has helped me as well. And in these times, you can't be too prideful. That's another thing I wanted to say. And this is not really why I got on here this morning, but it is what it is. Y'all know how I'm gonna shoot straight with you. But in this time, musicians, man, you have to not be too prideful. You have to be creative, have to be resourceful, and you can't be too prideful in this season that we're in, because a lot of us, we need help during this time. So, but you can't lose hope. I mean, and to be in a situation where you need help doesn't diminish you as a musician. It doesn't diminish your craft. It doesn't diminish you as a man, but it helps you to embrace who you are, embrace the season that you're in, because it's just a season. So there are a lot of things you can do in this season. Some of you guys, a well-known drummer that I have so much respect for, has been posting stuff on Facebook. Derico Watson, drummer for Victor Wooten. He's recently been working for like Amazon, doing work. I think he's driving a van, a delivery van for Amazon, and there's nothing wrong with that. Having a respectable trade, having something that you can do to continue to provide for your family, because sitting on the sidelines, prideful, waiting for something else to pop off, waiting for another gig to pop off, can sometimes be a detriment to you. It can sometimes have you in a place that you don't want to be in. So at least having something. If you have a business idea, like this is the time to be birthing that idea, and you'll know. You'll know. I found out quickly that I wasn't supposed to necessarily be in a truck. I got in there for a little while, just kind of supplement some income. But I found out quickly that that wasn't okay. I don't supposed to be doing this. I can do this, and there's a good thing about that. There are things you can do that you're not necessarily supposed to be doing. Don't do everything you can do. Make sure you find out what you're supposed to be doing. Make sure you find out what the actual purpose is. Now, the purpose of this actual video today, I title it "What's the use? I don't have any gigs. Why practice anyway?" I title it that way because I know that's the headspace of a lot of musicians right now. And because we don't know when we're going to be gigging again. For you guys that are actually playing gigs and you're actually playing live shows, you're playing for churches and this kind of thing. If your church is not still constantly filming each week, or recording something, you're out of a gig. You're not doing anything. My heart goes out to you if you're in that predicament, you're in that situation, because I know that was a hit on your income. But in that, you can't just die. I mean, I don't literally mean die, but I mean like as far as your creativity, you're practicing, you're playing, you can't just sit there on the sidelines and do absolutely nothing. You have to still be creative, still find ways. There are people who are still needing to record music for their services. Going back to answering the question earlier about, okay, if I've been out playing for the last couple of years, how do I come back and get gigs? This is actually the perfect time to be positioning yourself to get gigs. And you might say, why? Because nobody's hiring. Yeah, but everybody has time to be on social media. What's up, man, from the Virgin Island? Let me read a few more of these questions real quick. I'm gonna finish my thought, but all right. Okay, I gotta wait before I answer all this. I'll be completely lost. All right, so this is the perfect time to start putting videos out of yourself. Somebody asked, can you show us how to record ourselves? What I'm doing right now, here's the simplicity of it. What I'm doing right now is on my phone. I am doing this on my iPhone. And I have lighting. There is a light. That's all I have. Like just some good lighting on my face, so my image is very clear, and I have good lighting where you can see my face. Now that's not the way that I do my videos. The Jermaine Morgan TV videos is different. I use an actual DSLR, a more high-end camera for those videos. But right now I'm using my phone. Now there is an iRig device that you can get that gets you a little bit more clear audio when you're recording. But if you're not in a position to purchase anything right now, that's cool. And you could do some test runs. I'm not using anything right now. I am using my phone and I'm using the audio from my phone. These iPhones and a lot of these smartphones now have built-in compressions. So if your volume is at a control level, which means it's not ridiculously too loud, then you can be okay. It probably wouldn't be what you would prefer to have, but you can get away with using your phone. Simply using your phone, playing the covers, putting your best foot forward. If you have to do 50 takes, make sure you choose the best one. Don't just play it one time and just upload it unless you're that confident in what you put out. But excuse me, and that's not, I don't have COVID. This the weather changing around, the weather changing around here. So my throat has been a little itchy because of the weather changing. So y'all, before you get nervous, like Jermaine's coughing, no, I'm good. So you can simply use your phone. Now the way I have my phone and the way I'm recording right now is landscape, which means my phone is laying. My phone is like this. It's not like this. It's like this. All right, so I can see myself in the picture, but the phone is like this right here, all right? So that's how I'm recording, and I have a good light. And when I say lighting, I don't mean just go grab a lamp out of the house that has the little yellow bulb. I mean have something that has like more of a white type lighting. You want more white light, not yellow light. Like this light behind me, you can see in my studio, that light has more of a yellow tint to it. You want to have more of a white type tint to the light. And so you can find like camera lighting pretty inexpensive online. You can find some type of camera lighting, and you could get a little stand or something and camera lighting. A lot of people are using the ring lights. That's a nice investment if you're trying to get into videos. I've used the ring light, and it's really cool. I like using the ring light. You can actually adjust the level of the light with the ring light. You can bring it close to you. You can sit your phone. Sometimes they have little stands and stuff that you can place your phone in the middle of the light, so like you're literally in the center of the light. It's not right on you, but it's a little ways off, so you can invest in a ring light under 50 bucks. I can't remember exactly what we paid for it, but I'm pretty sure everybody's making them now. They're on Amazon. A little ring light, get a mount for your phone, set your phone up, get a ring light, you're sweet. If you want to invest into the iRig thing, the iRig situation is, I know they have one for like under 30 bucks, and then there's another one that they have that's a little more higher end that you can, I think, plug into a mixer, and it's under, I want to say it's under 100 bucks. I want to say it's under 100 bucks. So for a very, very small investment, and I will say this, guys, you're gonna have to invest into yourself, especially in this season. You're gonna have to put your best foot forward. If this is social distancing, you can't go to any gigs, you can't go to anybody's church and network and do any of that stuff. So the only option you have, which is a great option by the way, the only option you have is to invest in yourself and start putting some content out, start putting some videos out, let people see what you do. So when it's time to start hiring for gigs, if you're trying to play gigs, at least people have a reference point for who you are, how you play, how well you play, how well you interact with the band. Use some, if you don't have, like, I don't have anything to play to, I'm putting up backing tracks. I ain't putting up every week, but there's enough backing tracks consistently that I put out that you can take one of those backing tracks, play to that backing track, post it. It's that simple. Don't make this complicated. You don't have to take a solo or do any of that stuff. Just play the bass line. I'm giving you the bass line in the beginning of the song. Of any of the backing tracks that I put out, 90% of them have the bass line at the top of the song. And I see y'all's comments, and I'm going to come back to those. But 90% of the backing tracks that I put out, they have the bass line at the top of the song. So you really don't have an excuse to not be productive and put something out other than time. And most of us have time now, unless you're working a regular 9 to 5. But if your ultimate goal, I almost call this live today, how much do you love what you do, or how much do you love playing? If you really love playing like you say you do, or like you're wanting to say you do, you'll put the time in, you'll find time, you'll make time. Willie, I'm doing good, man. I seen your comment earlier. I'm gonna come back to it. You'll find time, and you'll make time to start practicing somewhere. You might not be able to put in the 10 hours a week that I require from my students, but you'll find some kind of time somewhere. Even if you're dog tired, you'll figure out somewhere, sometime in that week to pick up your instrument and try to do something with it. And so that's the thing that you have to do. You have to keep something going. And you have to keep those relationships built. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with being on camera. A lot of people feel like, man, it's so competitive and everybody wants to show off, and I don't want to get online because that's all everybody wants to do now is just show off and show their licks and show all this stuff. It's not about that. And the other thing about it is you have to find your niche. You have to find your niche, however you want to say it. You have to find that thing that makes you stand out amongst everybody else. And it might not be your chops. Your chops might not have nothing to do with it. You might just be a solid bass player. If you play quartet music, post some stuff with you playing some solid quartet stuff. If you play praise and worship music, that's what you play, post some things of you playing praise and worship music. If it's just traditional gospel, post some stuff of you playing some traditional gospel songs that you like. Don't try to be something that you're not. In other words, find what you do well and highlight that. And not only that, let us hear you talk. Let us hear you. Let us hear your personality. Let us hear your thoughts. Sometimes you can do more than just play your instrument, because another thing that get people to hire you when it comes to gigs, they're looking for your personality. I'm still kind of answering the question about kind of getting the gigs. It's like, because I could be the most qualified for the position when it comes to just playing wise and learning the material and showing up on time and doing all the mechanical stuff as it relates to getting hired for the gig. But this particular situation might be looking for someone, we're looking for somebody who can kind of vibe with us. We're looking for somebody who fits our, fits our vibe. And people can connect with you by just hearing your conversation, by seeing what you talk about. So I talked about this before with being mindful of the things you post on social media. Be aware of what you're posting on social media. Be aware of what you're putting out there, because what you're doing, Les Brown has a quote. He says, mind your conversation and also read and study, and basically I'm gonna use the Bible, show yourself approved, because when you open your mouth, you let the world know who you are. When you start talking, and your talking can go beyond your words, your talking can be in your posting, the stuff that you share, everything about who you are, it comes out in your social media account. If you're on social media like that and you're posting stuff, everything about who you are, we found out a lot about who you are based on what you post. So if you're always posting trash, you're always posting something that's negative or demeaning or something like that, it's going to tell us a lot about your character, a lot about who you are, because okay, this is all this person posts. It's always about them. Me, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, instead of like, okay, you can show us what you do, but who are you? We don't want to just know what you do. Who are you? So be sure to let people know who you are. Give them that insight. You don't have to tell them your life story, but give people, like, that's why I figure like Instagram is so popular, because when people post pictures, it gives the world an opportunity to see behind the scenes, beyond what you play, beyond what you say. I get to see who you are. I get to see your family. I get to see certain things about you. Oh, you like cars. I like cars too. Oh, you're into football. Oh, I like football too. Or whatever the thing is that you're into, people can now relate to that. Oh, this dude seems cool, man. He's always posting about that person. He's always posting positive quotes, and he's always posting things about family. These are the values that I have. I kind of want somebody like that on my team that shares my values. So being able to be authentic with people, showing them who you really are, and just not being afraid to embrace who you really are. Who you really are, not who you're trying to be. I'm hoping I'm being really clear with that. Who you really are, not who you're trying to be. MJ2, what's up now? So just be honest. Be honest about, now if you're a terrible person, you might have some work to do on your personality. So don't be too honest. If you know you have a really, really bad personality, you might need to work on that personality in order to maybe land some gigs. Maybe the thing that's causing you not to get gigs is you were too honest about who you are and you're not trying to do anything about it. So if you know you have some character flaws, which we all do, but if you have some character flaws that might be costing you gigs, you might need to work on those. Like, hey, I'm a I'm a party animal. That's what I do. I drink, I get drunk, I do all this stuff, and I like to have a good time. Nothing wrong with having a good time. But for the type gigs that you're trying to get, is your good time helping you get that gig, or is your good time gonna cost you that gig? So you have to be mindful of what you put out. Don't put out too much of a polished image that you can't live up to once you get the gig. And one of the things I think about myself that I put out, it is what it is. I am who I am. I don't try to fake the funk. I don't try to be something that I'm not. What you see is what you get consistently. So what you hear from me here, if you talk to me in person, you're going to get the same thing. Now, in person, I'm going to probably be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more country, because that's naturally who I am. I do understand that there's some level of professionalism in presentation that you have to give. And we all know about that. You have to give that. I mean, who you are on your job, you give them a level of professionalism that you probably wouldn't give if they were at your home at a barbecue. It's probably going to be a little bit more laid back. So finding that fine line between that to be able to show people in order that you might give the best image of who you are, the best image of who you are or who you're striving to be. That's what we're trying to put out. That's what we're trying to show. And the same goes for our playing. Being honest when it comes to what you play. Just being completely honest. You know, if you're a beginner, don't try to act like you're advanced. Just play how you play. Put the best that you have to offer out. And the more consistently you work on that, the more consistently you put it out, you're going to be able to critique yourself from every video you put out. Some of y'all have a fear of being on camera and putting yourself out because, man, that sounds like trash. That's okay. If you go back to my old videos all the way back, if you go search way back in my videos, you're going to hear some of my earlier stuff is not as polished as some of the stuff that I play now. What's going on, Ken? So, but if you go back to those videos, you're going to see that, you know, oh, okay, there was a lot of growth. But I had to get to the point where I got okay with this is who I am, this is where I am in my playing, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with letting you hear that. I'm okay with y'all critiquing it. I'm okay with people coming at me for the way that I pronounce words and all that, because that's who I am. I'm not trying to be you. I'm me. And you have to get okay with who you are and present that confidently, and then other people will follow. There's a saying, I told this many times before, but there's a saying, all you do is fix the food and put the food out, and the ones who are hungry will come and eat. That's all you do. You make the food, put your best foot forward with preparing the food. Your food is whatever you do well, you put that out there. And the ones who want what you put out, everybody don't like tacos. Everybody don't like chitlins. Everybody don't like yams. Everybody don't like, you know, Asian food or whatever the case may be. But somebody likes what you prepare. You know what I'm saying? So when you prepare what you do very well, you just put it out there. You don't worry about who doesn't like it, because there's going to be somebody who likes what you do. So you put your best foot forward, and the ones who are hungry, the ones who are looking for you, they will find you. But you have to put the food out. You can't be that person that sits there, man. You can't be this guy. Oh man, I could do that, man. If I ever put out a video, it's gonna be this, and you can't be that guy, because now you're the person who can do everything, but nobody has any evidence of anything you can do because you never put anything out. No, we have to see what you do, and we have to see your consistency in doing that. And after a while, you don't have to talk and tell anything, because the consistency of what you put out speaks for you. Consistency will tell off after a while. You can say something for so long, but after a while, we know if you're practicing. We know if you don't practice. We can see growth, because if we go back 3 months from what you posted 3 months ago, and if it sounds the same 3 months after that, we know you're not practicing. We know you're not doing anything different from what you started 3 months ago. So we can tell a difference, and people can hear it. And so when you're making adjustments, when you're trying to constantly improve on who you are, and what you do, people can tell it. You don't have to. I use this analogy. I get a crack out of the gym pictures. Not throwing any shade to anybody that like this. You know the picture, the iconic pose, getting it in. I'm in the gym. Beast mode. Like, and you posted that almost every other day of the week. But 6 months later, you look the exact same. You're not getting beast mode. Like, no, you at the gym, and you want us to know that you at the gym so you can get credit for it. That's all you doing. You're trying to get credit. And so they're talking about beast mode and trying to show your muscle. Nah, you're trying to get credit for something that you barely doing. You took that picture 5 minutes after being in the gym, then 10 minutes after that, you left and went home. Let's be honest. Because we can see the results. The results are going to always tell off on what you've been doing. You'll know if I haven't been, taking care of my body, because I get on here one week and you're like, yo, Jermaine, bro, you need to kind of hit them weights, don't you? You're going to be able to tell, because the results are going to speak up. So consistency always tells off. All right, I done missed like 1,000 comments. So I didn't overlook y'all. I wanted to finish my thought before I went back. All right, so let's go back and see how much stuff I missed. Okay. Vic, Ryan, can you give an example of a structure for a beginner? I think I ended up having to do this on almost every live, giving structures for beginner practice. If you're still here, one of the things that I would say as a beginner, fundamentals. Fundamentals is definitely something you want to be working on timing, having some type of exercise where you work on timing. So maybe spend the first 5 minutes stretching your hands. My fingers are ashy, But it's all good. It's early. I'm at home. I ain't going nowhere. Y'all seen it. Spend the first 5 minutes stretching. Stretching your fingers. 5 minutes might be long, but you want to make sure you're stretching those hands out, because what happens is beginners, we can get locked into some of my beginner players that I'm working with now with the coaching calls. If you guys are not familiar with my coaching calls, just shameless plug, on JermaineMorgan.net, I have coaching calls that I do. I actually just released two new lesson plans, well, actually more than that, on my website. I have the monthly membership lessons that you hear me talk about all the time on my videos. I'm talking about the monthly membership lessons. That's like $11.99. I have the membership plus option, which gives you access to all of my courses. But now what I just introduced, if any of you guys know about my one-on-one coaching calls, they can kind of be slightly expensive. And for a lot of people, they can be expensive. But I just rolled out a plan now that with the membership exclusive, monthly membership exclusive, you get one call with me per month. So I can walk with you through these different things. We'll spend a 30-minute call per month. And then you also get access to all the monthly membership lessons. Membership plus exclusive, you still get that call, one call with me per month, but you get access to everything, pretty much all of the courses on my site. So those options are available. So for some of you guys that want that one-on-one time with me to help you, the base coaching basically is me kind of helping you to, like, basically what a coach would do, help you through your plan or your career, whatever you're trying to do as it relates to music, with the knowledge and stuff that I've acquired over the years. Thank God that I had a pretty successful run at this so far. But the things that I've learned over the years, I can share them with you, kind of help you improve on your playing and help you grow and be there to kind of show you some things you might be doing wrong. Because there's only so much I can give with these videos with not seeing you play. But when I'm able to see my students one-on-one and see, oh, okay, you're having a problem with timing. Oh, okay, you're not counting this correctly. Oh, okay, you need to go back and learn your scale. Okay, so I can figure all that stuff out just by being able to see you and hear what you're doing and being able to point some of that stuff out. All right. So what I was talking about with the beginners, having a good structure when you're practicing, I talked about spending like the first 5 minutes of going through scales. I'm sorry, not going through scales, but stretching. And then maybe spend 10 to 15 minutes, if you can, trying to work on just learning the major scale. If you hadn't already learned the major scale, we focus first things first on like the major and minor scale, just regular. And then once you get that kind of under your hands, now you can start adding the 2 octaves to it. You know what I'm saying? And we're not working on all the 12 different shapes that you can do. We're not working on that. We're just getting it under our hands and getting our ear to recognize what the major scale is. I think a problem that most beginners make in the early stages is they try to take in too much information at one time. You try to learn everything at one time, and because of that, you end up getting discouraged because there's way too much stuff to learn. It can be an overload of information, and you're so hungry, which is good, but you end up discouraging yourself because you're trying to learn everything on the base. And I want to be able to do what Jermaine or what Derek or what Scott, I want to be able to do what all of that stuff. I want to be able to do it in the first year. And that's not going to happen. I'm just being honest with you. It's going to be a low likelihood that you're going to figure out. And you might learn all of the technical stuff. You might learn all of the scales, but application and all that kind of stuff, it's a low likelihood. It's not impossible, but you're pushing it to try to do all of that in 1 year. It's going to take time. Took us all years to be able to develop all of this stuff and to be able to pull it out at will and be able to use it. It's taken a lot of time. So just kind of working through those fundamental things, stretching, using a metronome. And I wouldn't say that you got to do it in a particular order, but it needs to be done on a daily basis. I will say that. Now, the stretches is definitely important. Stretch when you start. Not only stretch your fingers, stretch your wrists, especially if you're older. If you're an older player, I got a lot of older players that I work with. Make sure you're stretching. You're keeping those joints real limber, because the position that you're playing in on the bass, we all have these crazy positions, and sometimes you're going to position your hands wrong. It's just going to happen. I do it all the time. When I'm standing up, my wrist is straightened, but when I'm sitting down, my wrist is relaxed. I do both. So, and even with my left hand, you stand in this position all the time. And if you're doing it for hours, your hand can start cramping up. It can start cramping up in here. You can start feeling it back here. So you have to stretch. I have to remember to do it myself. It's not something that I'm telling y'all to do it. I do it every single time. No, you have to remember, have to make a point of remembering. There's a way that you can sit on the floor and like put your hands like next to you and stretch that way, and that way you're stretching all these muscles out as well. You can kind of lean back on it, not too hard, but lean back on it a little bit. You just move your hands around and stretch that way as well. I'm telling y'all, this stretching thing, the older you get, you have to remember to stretch your hands, because I've been through periods that my hands felt like they locked up on me, but the more I stretched, it feels like that's less and less the more I stretch. And be mindful of, stretching when I'm playing and stretching when I'm not playing, shaking your wrists. I know that kind of look funny for the dudes, but every now and again you got to do it. You got to move your arms, move your wrist around, wiggle your fingers to make sure that they're not stiffening up on you. So I'm stressing that because it's very important, because if you can't use your hands because they locking up, all that other stuff you're trying to do, it's not going to happen. But if you can remember to stretch, make that part of your daily routine, stretching, or at least weekly. If you can't do it daily, try to make stretching part of it. Stretching is very, very, very important. And like I said, working with the metronome, working with the metronome, working with just different speed exercises, not just speed, but working with your timing, like working with different note values, like playing quarter notes, eighths, sixteenths. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, you know what I'm saying? Because if you count that, that's 16. So being able to go through the different note values and doing that, starting at a slow tempo, doing that, I wouldn't say play whole notes, but you'll be there all day. But you can start with quarter notes. 1. Quarter notes is simply like it sounds, 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes is you subdivide those quarters. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if you count that out, that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 16th notes, same thing. You subdivide that 8. So you got 16. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm counting that wrong, but y'all got me. All right. So that's all you're doing. So don't let all that musical terminology get you confused, but that's what you're doing. You're subdividing and you're working with a metronome to improve that. And so the more you do that and you keep speeding it up, gradually speeding it up, now you're working on muscle memory, getting the left hand and getting the right hand together with 30-second notes, but and you keep speeding it up, you know what I'm saying, with the metronome, it gets better and better. But to get the left hand incorporated, see what I just did? I just took that subdivision and not only did it with my right hand, but I did it with my left hand as well, taking something as simple as a scale and applying it. Just with quarter notes, 8 notes, 16 notes. If I can clean it up. You know what I'm saying? So taking those different things and applying them, metronome, slow, speed it up. I don't want to beat a dead horse on that subject, but that's some different ways you can structure. And of course, don't forget this, most important thing as a beginner, play to have fun. Don't forget to take the fun element. Don't forget to keep the fun element in your practice. Every time you got to find something that you love. Give yourself the freedom to just put a song on that you don't even know, but you like the beat, and just play. Have fun playing. All of the rules and stuff you've been thinking about, throw them out of the window and just have fun. You have to have the balance of both, because you don't want to get disgusted with everything, structure and rules and all that. No, Give yourself the freedom. If you want to take a solo in the key of E and you're supposed to be an A, just have fun. Do your thing. Hopefully, over time, the more you do it, though, and this is the key thing about it, over time, the more you do it, your ear will start hearing, oh, that's wrong. They're playing in the key of E, and I'm in the key of A. Something is wrong with that. So over time, as your ear improves, you'll start making the adjustment, but you have to start listening intentionally. But the most part about it is just be able to have fun with it, because before you know it, I got one of my students and he's playing. I had him learning the do I do line, and he's not necessarily an advanced player, but he's playing and he's figuring that out at a like beginner to intermediate level, figuring that out. And he didn't even think he could do that initially when we started, but the more he's been working on it, the more he's been playing with the song, he was able to figure that out. And that's just by simply making sure we're keeping that fun element in it and not thinking that this is okay. I'm not ready for that because I'm a beginner. No, you stretch yourself. That's like even with the licks things that I put out here on YouTube. I always encourage beginners to play the more advanced licks. Yeah, you might feel like that's out of your range for now, but try it anyway. You might be surprised. You might shock yourself that you can actually play that. It might be way out of your range, but the more you push yourself, it's going to give you goals and stuff to get close to and let you put on a mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to keep pushing yourself to stretch yourself. All right. And don't be so caught up in all of the rules, but do have some form of structure. All right. Spend enough time on that question. Hopefully I answered that really, really well. Let me go back because I know I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Trying to get back to it. No, I don't, Michael, I don't play upright bass. That's not my cup of tea. And it's not because I don't want to or anything. I don't have one, and I really haven't made a priority to get one. Jerry Green says, "What do you suggest as a practice for a person that played 4-string and got injured 20 years? I got a 5-string. I'm totally lost." Basically, everything I just said. Go back and do that. And if you do that, I guarantee that's going to help you out a whole lot. Teach us tips on how to make videos. I covered that earlier. Hello, man, I'm way behind. Sorry, y'all. New York, I see you, David. If you're still here, Daniel from Indonesia, what's up? Matthew Welch, good morning to you, man. Impulse Music, Willie, what's up, man? If I didn't speak to you already. Stephen Powell, good morning. What bass did you use for the Ricky Miller? That wasn't me playing bass. I was playing guitar on that. Actually, Stephen, I was playing guitar on that record. I think that was Morgan Turner playing bass, if I'm not mistaken. I ain't actually heard the song yet. I gotta go and listen to it. How are you doing, Willie? I'm good, man. MJ2, morning to you. Stephen, I see you. David Cunningham, good morning. Checking from Palm Beach, Florida. I have a problem with my guys being late. All good, man. Yeah, that's a personal thing. You just have to address that. If you're talking about from a music director standpoint, yeah, you definitely have to address that and just kind of let people know the importance of it or the consequences that lie if you don't start improving on that time thing. Do it in a loving way. Hey, man. Let me see here. What was I at? Peter, what's up? Kim, my brother, see you if you're still on here. MJ2, what's up to you? Nice one. I love this. Thank you for the word. No problem. Good to be you. Makes things easier. Comfort. Yep. Yeah, you going back to the statement I was saying earlier. Just being yourself. Being confident with being yourself. Vic Jackson, I leave my old video post up on my channel as well. I can have a reminder of progress. Yeah. Don't always be so down on yourself when you see your old stuff, how bad it was and all that. I was the world worst that I'll delete stuff. And I'm like, man, that was trash. But you need that to remind you of how far you've come. So, yeah. I ain't saying you got to leave it up on YouTube for the world to see, but at least make it private so you can at least go back and see it. If it's hurting your career, you might want to make it private, but at least have that where you can see it so you can know in them times that you feel down on yourself about your plan, you can go back and look, 6 months, a year back and say, man, I've actually came a long way. Record yourself on your phone, all that stuff. Go back and watch your videos and see the progress you're making. I hate my speaking voice, but I have good knowledge about audio recording DAW. I love bass. Hey, I don't think any of us like our voice. We don't like hearing our voice when we first hear it, but you'll get used to it. Because I used to say, that's how I sound when I would record myself. But after a while, you get used to it. You get comfortable with it. It's just stuff that we're not used to. Most of us don't like what we're not used to. It's not that it's not good. We're just not used to it. So just like new food, trying stuff. You might not like it right away. You might not even like the smell of it. But after trying it a couple of times, like, man, I think I kind of like this. It kind of grows on you. So even your own voice is an acquired taste. Steven, you over there laughing. Fits my situation. Meanwhile, best to you. Thank you. Floyd, what's up, man? Ganging internal muscles, maybe. Uh, man, Stedman, no problem. Too much information is like a pastor kid. Wow. Just having all that information and not knowing what to do with it. Yeah. Like I say a lot of times, having a toolbox full of tools and you don't know how to use any of them. Back on Tuesdays, Michael Brandon, I'm gonna try to do what I gotta do, man. Try to be here a little bit more. I can't guarantee I'm gonna be here every Tuesday, but I'm gonna definitely be going live a lot more. Good morning, man. Malcolm Hornsby, good morning to you. Anthony, good morning. I know I'm late. How to find the motivation to keep playing and practicing, especially during these times. I love playing. I'm gonna get to that question, Malcolm. I love playing all the time. I'm in a band as well, but learning, improving is gratifying, especially different genres. Yep. To use a 5-string, okay for beginners. Yeah, 5-string is just fine for a beginner. Nick, big up Jermaine. Been a fan since the snake finger. Oh, you talking about Fingers Haynes? Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So, Malcolm, you asked a great question. It's really what this whole live was about. How do you keep that motivation up to keep playing and practicing, especially in these times? You have to have the bigger picture in mind. I said something similar to this earlier, but I will say you have to keep the bigger picture in mind. What's the goal? Why did you have to remember? And I even had to do this. Y'all know I try to be transparent as possible with you. This last year for me, I stepped away from my 12-year position at a church as music director. I wasn't music director for the full 12 years, but I stepped away last year around this time. And this year has probably been one of the most challenging for me in regards to financial, mental. I mean, even before COVID, just keeping it 100. Even before COVID, this has been a really, really challenging season for me all the way around. And it had me questioning even some of the things that I was doing. Even though I'm pushing and encouraging you guys, it put me in a place a lot of times where I was questioning, you sure you should be doing this? Because life will have you do that. Life will have you question your purpose. And what it really is you're being tested. For my spiritual folks that are on here, you're being tested and tried to see if you really believe what you're saying you're about. To see if you're really going to stick it out, to see if you're really going to persevere. So if you really want to play, if you really want to be good at this thing, if you're really committed to it, your commitment will always be tested. I'll say that again. Your commitment to what you said you want to do, it will always be tested to see if you're serious about it. A lot of times that thing is going to be tested to see how serious you are about it. You're going to go through different things, ups and downs in your plan. You're going to go through stuff, times that you want to quit, times that you want to just straight give up because it's like, man, this ain't working out. Even like now, so many musicians are hit with this COVID thing. And it's like, can you, if you had to, can you get a regular job and still maintain the motivation to practice? If you had to get a regular job, can you have a regular job and not be disgusted? If you've been a full-time musician, can you have a regular job and not be disgusted at the fact that you're having to do something different? Or are you having to take a detour? You're having to take a slight detour that wasn't in your initial plan? Can you still keep that same energy and keep going? Because just think about it this way. You're on your way to, let's say, Six Flags. I know we got some Disney World folks on here, but let's say Six Flags or your favorite theme park. If you ain't in the theme parks, just fill in the blank. You're on the way to Blah, your favorite place. You know the way how to get there somewhat. You know what the GPS is telling you. But when you get to a certain road, you find out, oh, this bridge is out up the street because there was a flood that happened 3 days ago that nobody told you about before you started wasting gas. You're already low on gas. Let's add that in there. You're already low on gas, and there's a sign that says there's a detour. You just passed the gas station like 10 miles back. And so there's a sign that says detour. All right. So you have the option, and you know there's a gas station up the road because you've been down this road before. You don't know completely where the theme park is at, but you've been down this road. So you know there's a gas station a little ways up. All right, you're confident about that, but you don't know how far this detour is going to take you out. So at this point, you have a decision to make. Do I keep moving forward and trust that I have enough gas to make it to this next spot? Or do I go back, fill up, possibly get behind schedule? There's a lot of dynamics that could go in this scenario. I'm coming up the top of the dome with this, so don't come at me in the comments. But it's like you have a choice to make. Do I turn around and go back to something that's for certain, something that I know I can depend on, or do I keep moving forward? Let's add another little twist to it. The gas station that you just passed 10 miles back was a mom and pop. And it's late at night, so you don't know what time they close. It's about 10 o'clock. So you chance going back to the mom and pop to get gas, and you might run out on your way, or you run the chance of, if you go back this way and go there and find out that they're closed, you're going to come back up this way and run out of gas anyway. Or you can keep moving forward, take the detour that wasn't on your initial route, and just keep going and see how close you get to that destination. Now, for me personally, I know this is an extreme scenario, but for me personally, I think I'm going to take the option. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to take the detour. I'm probably not going to like it as much because I don't know where this is taking me. But here's the thing that I found about the detour. Sometimes we're so busy focusing on what we're trying to get to that we ignore the journey. We ignore all of the stuff that happens while we're on the journey. I'll share this. When I was going back and forth to college in Alabama, UNA, I would take the Natchez Trace. If any of you guys from Mississippi, you know about what the Natchez Trace is. The Natchez Trace is, man, and when you drive down that, like especially in the spring and the summertime, one of the most beautiful things you can see. Just seeing the land, if you like landscape and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm looking at all this stuff while I'm driving because I had to take the Trace for almost 2 hours to get to college when I was driving back and forth. And I'm seeing all this nice stuff, and it's just, but the Trace is boring. There ain't nothing on there. People don't live on the Trace. You got to go off roads and stuff that find people's houses. It's just straight 2 hours of nothing but, nothing but scenery, landscape. But there was this one time that the road was messed up, and so it took me off the regular path. And I started going down this detour because I had no choice. I had to get to where I was going. I started going down this detour. But on the way, as I'm going down this detour, I'm seeing all this other stuff that I've never seen before. I'm seeing these nice houses, and I'm seeing this, I'm a country boy. I'm seeing all this land, and I'm seeing just all kind of stuff. Oh man, I didn't even know this lake was over here. Oh, this is nice. I need to come back. I need to have my wife was my girlfriend at the time. This would be nice to bring my girlfriend over here to see this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting all these ideas of these different, and that's just one example, but it's plenty of times I've taken detours and I see some things that are so nice that I would not have seen had I stayed on the main road. So a lot of times we think that detour is something like COVID-19. I use COVID-19. We think COVID-19 is a detour. What's going on? The Perry base. We think COVID-19, we can look at that as a detour. And all of us, most of us have been looking at that the wrong way. Yes, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not diminishing the fact of it's bad. A lot of people have died. A lot of people lost their life. A lot of you have been sick. Some of you have been affected. You have family members. So I'm not by any means saying that COVID-19 is good. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there is beauty in everything. There's beauty in every situation. So you have to look for the beauty, even in the detour. If I got to get off my main road to go where I'm going, instead of just being on this whole detour mad the whole time, man, I supposed to been going here. I would have been at this gas station just grumbling and complaining the whole time. What can I look around and see? What can I look on my left and see? What can I look on my right and see? Instead of grumbling the whole time about me, the possibility of me running out of gas, why can't I be thankful that, man, God, I've been driving for almost 30 minutes and my car still, the light ain't came on yet. I ain't quite made it to the gas station, but the light ain't came on. I'm not on side of the road. While I'm worried about the gas, my tire could have blew out. My tire didn't blow out. Man, my AC is still working. Or if it's cold, my heat is still working. My windows will roll up and down. I'm getting to see all of this stuff that I didn't see before. Oh man, I didn't even know that there was a tourist attraction over here. I didn't even know any of this stuff was over here. So oftentimes we can be so focused on the problem and so focused on the situation that we miss the opportunity to grow. We miss the opportunity to develop while we're going through whatever it is we're going through, because we're so busy focused on every problem. You'll start agreeing with your circumstance, and that happened to me. You'll start agreeing with your circumstance as opposed to looking at that circumstance as an opportunity. Okay, I see this is happening and I'd rather not be here, but there's an opportunity in this. And as opposed to, well, instead of me looking at it from a negative standpoint, God, what can I learn from COVID-19? What can I learn from this? What are you telling me as a player? Maybe I've been putting too much faith in my gigs. Maybe I've been putting too much faith in my church supporting me as a man or as a woman, whoever watching this video. Maybe I've been putting too much support in this establishment, in this man, in this person to protect me with this gig. Putting too much hope and too much trust in things that all fade away, things that are all temporary. What do you have for me? What can I do in this season? Maybe there's time for me to start working on this vision, this goal, this thing that I've that's been gnawing at me for the past 10 years. Maybe I have time now to start working on that, to start actually digging into that, because I can't do this anymore. So maybe I should start, like some of y'all got business, some of y'all are photographers on the side, some of y'all do a lot of different things and you haven't embraced any of those other things because you've always had a legitimate excuse for why you couldn't do it. Well, now COVID is giving you a reason why you can do it. And what will you do with this time? Will you spend all your time complaining about it? You don't have to answer your question, Michael. I think that's who asked the question. But I'll say it this way. The more grateful you can be, the less you have to be motivated. The more grateful you can stay and the more grateful you can remain. How I do that, I do watch motivational videos when I get up in the morning. I do watch something positive. If you look at the screen over here, you see I got Bishop T.D. Jakes. I always have something positive going in the morning, because there's a scripture that tells us if you find anything pure, if you find anything lovely, if you find anything of good report, think on those things. Think of stuff that's good. Think of things that are positive. Think of your family. Think of you may have had somebody that died from COVID or something like that, or somebody that got sick from COVID. But think about the ones who are not. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about anything good that you can find that's praiseworthy, anything that you can find that's of good report. Think on that. Be grateful for it. When you get out of your bed in the morning, before you just run and start answering everybody on your phone and replying to text messages, take a moment, get on your knees, say thank you. Thank you that I had a bed to sleep in. And if you didn't have a bed for whatever reason to sleep in, thank you that I woke up. I mean, no matter what state we find ourselves in, whether it's high or whether it's low, finding some kind of way to be grateful for where we are and what we have, because our circumstances oftentimes will cause us to not be grateful for the small stuff. God, thank you. My situation didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but I thank you that I'm still here. Thank you that I had an opportunity to learn something from this situation. I'm thankful. I'm grateful for it. COVID is jacking up everything for me, but I thank you that I'm still here. I thank you that you're giving me creativity. I thank you that you're giving me ideas. I thank you that you're allowing me, you know what I'm saying? I thank you that you're allowing me to be creative in this moment. I thank you you're allowing me to help people. I thank you that you allow me to go live. I thank you that you have, even though we're isolated in our homes, most of us, you still allow technology to be so advanced that we don't have to feel alone. We have social media. We have ways, FaceTime if we're away from our family and stuff like that. We have FaceTime that we can see our loved ones. We can FaceTime them. We can call them. We can Skype them. We can Zoom them. I mean, almost everything. There's no excuse for communication now and being able to see the person on the other side, other than you just not wanting to at this point. Because there's so many ways that we're able to do that. Whereas if this was 1929, when the crash happened, they ain't had none of this stuff. Just imagine that crash happening and it being a pandemic at the same time. We have so much in this season to be grateful for. Everybody's talking about 2020 is trash. 2020 is not trash. I'm not going to speak that over the entire year of 2020. And I'm not going to keep repeating it just because it's what everybody wants to say. Man, we lost Kobe. We lost so many people are going to die. It's going to happen in 2021. It's going to happen in 2022 and so on as long as you're living. So because of all of these things, life happening, that doesn't suggest that this year is trash. There's been a lot of bad things happening, but the true character of a man is being able to take a bad hand and play it well. So I'll take 2020 and all of its problems, and I'll be grateful in the process. And I'm going to play 2020 just how it's handed to me. All right? I ain't got no spades. Let's go. I'm a terrible card player, by the way. But I'm saying, like, if this is what you're going to give me, I'm not going to sit and complain about. There is a saying that said, don't complain about what you have. What you have is all you have. Don't complain about it. It's what you have. Don't complain. I'll say it again. Don't complain about what you have, because what you have is all you have. So don't complain about it. If that's what you got to work with, then work with what you got. Do what you can with what you got. If that's what you have, work with it. Don't complain about it. If you have a base, you want to know what's good motivation for practicing your base and keeping your motivation going during this season? The fact that you have a base that you can practice. Because there's a lot of people who want to play and they can't. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to say can't, but I say can't. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people, you want to know some motivation for you to be able to practice? I got the activity of my limbs and my hands. You want to know there's motivation for me to work out? See, y'all don't know all of my story. There was a time that I was in a wheelchair. There was a time that I was on crutches. I got a big, huge yard, and I don't like doing the hedges of my yard, and I don't like doing weed eating because I do my own lawn. Now I will say this: I love cutting the grass. Getting on the zero turn and cutting the grass, because that's when I do my best thinking. But when it comes to the hedge trimming and when it comes to doing the weed eating and all that stuff, I hate it. I hate it. But what I have to ground myself with, I have to go back and I have to think. I remember when I was on crutches. I remember when I was in a wheelchair, and I remember when I couldn't walk. So the very fact that I get to walk around, even if I'm in pain, the fact that I get to walk around, and the fact that I get to do this. See, it ain't promised that you get to do this all the time. It can all change in one moment. You can wake up tomorrow with the stroke many people have and try to lift yourself up out of the bed, and you can't do it. Think about it. Think about it. Now, that's another thing that helps you to keep things really in perspective. You can wake up tomorrow, or by the end of the day, something could happen. Could take you completely out of here. And the only thing you have is your mouth. So the fact that you get to use these hands, as frustrating as it is, as frustrating as it is that we don't have gigs and things available to us, the fact that you have an opportunity to do whatever it is you do, that's enough to be grateful for, and that's enough motivation to keep going. That's enough motivation to keep going. The fact that you can when other people can't. Because guess what? All these people that have left here from COVID, they don't get that option. Left from a car wreck, left from house fire. Let's not just talk about COVID, because people was dying way before COVID. But they don't get that option. Hopefully some of them are in a better place. We don't know. All we know is they don't get that option that you get today to do your best, to put your best effort forward. I don't care how bad the job is that you're working on. Some of the people I seen, because it's a twofold world. Musicians are like panicking because they don't have jobs. And I went to a store the other day. You know what I'm saying? I went to a store, and I see a comment, Michael. I went to a store the other day. It's like a little dollar store or something like that. And it was a lady at the register, and she was just mad and complaining because it was close to time for her to go home. It was close to time for her to get off. And I was like, it's so funny how we can be in one moment just mad at the world because we have to do our job, or we have to be at work and we're ready to go home, we're ready to get off, but let that be taken away from us and we don't have that option to go. God, give me a job. I just wish I had some work. I'd do anything. If I just had somewhere to go, if I could, you know what I'm saying? That could be taken away from us. But in the moment, we easily forget. We easily forget in the moment. And that circumstance that's going on can cause us to put our mouth on that moment that's happening instead of being grateful that I'm in this moment. I don't like this job. I don't like being here. I don't like these people, but I thank you that I have a job. I thank you that in this season, while everybody else is hungry, while everybody else is trying to figure out what they're going to do for work, I actually got somewhere to go. I actually got somewhere that I can go into. I don't like that dude. I don't like my supervisor, but I actually got a job. I actually have work. I actually have purpose. Or if you own your own business, things might be slow. For me, it's slow. But I thank God that I have something. It's still moving. Don't let me talk about the tortoise and the hare. It's still moving. It might be trickling. I thank God for the trickle, because it could stop. It could dry all the way up. I could be in a drought where there's nothing happening. So I'll take the trickle. I'll give you the thanks for the trickle, as long as you let it keep trickling. Because I know if there's a trickle, there's an indication that there's still water in there. That's still an indication that I still got some water in this pipe. There's still some water in this tube. So if your business is slow right now and it's just barely trickling, that's just evidence to you that there's still water in the pipe. So don't cut the faucet off. Let it trickle. All right. Let's see here. Columbia. Nah, I'm from Mississippi, born and raised, but I'm in the Atlanta area. All right. Let me go back here. Okay, Malcolm says, that's so real, man. I'm going through something similar in these times. It has me even questioning my love and drive for music constantly. Just wanted to know if, hold on. Just wanted to know if you've ever been in that position. Absolutely, Malcolm. We all go through it, man. Don't let people fool you. We are all human, and we all go through this stuff. We just go through it on different levels at different times, but we all of us are human. So don't let nobody fool you with that Hollywood stuff. We are all human, and we are all experiencing the same thing on some degree. So we all have common ground. I don't care where you're from in the world. I don't care who you know, who you don't know. We all have common ground. We all are human, and I can have empathy for what you're going through, because if I don't have empathy for it, I'm going to find myself in the same situation. I'm going to need somebody to have empathy and compassion for me. So yeah, don't let these social media celebrities fool you. They're going through it too. We are all human, man. We all bleed. We all bleed the same. All right. So especially when you have a family depending on you, I know I got 4 people depending on me. Michael Brandon, we talked about that the other job thing during one of our coaching sessions. Yep, Hawk and Rock now Guntown. Gotta have a plan B. Yeah, you gotta. And I would say, and Michael, you make a good point. There's nothing wrong with having a plan B. I've heard it both ways. And I've kind of been anti the plan B thing. But what I will say, just always remember to keep the main thing the main thing. I'll say that. There's nothing wrong because a man that fails to plan in his heart plans to fail. So you have to have a plan, definitely. And you have to be willing to adjust your plan. The Bible says the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. The man in his heart makes his plans, but the Lord orders his steps. In your heart, you can have your plan. Ain't nothing wrong with having a plan. As a matter of fact, you need to have a plan in order for your steps to be ordered. Because if you're just randomly doing stuff off the cuff without a plan, you're destined to fail. You're destined to fail. But if you have some type of plan, but don't ever forget the main thing. Whatever the main thing is, which means your purpose, what your purpose to do, what you're being called to do. And that ain't always ministry. Like, we have other callings outside of ministry. Like, so whatever your purpose to do, figure out what that purpose is. Figure out what that purpose is and keep that main thing the main thing. So when you have to adjust your plan, you know that, quote unquote, your plan B is temporary. You don't let your plan B become your plan A. Keep that main thing the main thing. I knew even when I was driving the truck situation for a little while, I know that this is temporary. Even if I have to do whatever I got to do, if I got to sweep a street to take care of my family, I know in my mind that it's temporary because that's not what God showed me that I should be doing. So if I have to do something for a little while, it's okay. If you have to do something a little while because of COVID-19, it's okay. But keep that main thing the main thing, and don't lose hope while you're doing your other thing to get by. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right, let's see. I'll try to go back here. Look beyond is always good. Yeah. Right. Your tongue is a rudder. Absolutely. You're absolutely right about the opportunities that came across this situation. It's absolutely amazing. The technology, unlimited access to information and learning, people we are forced to be exposed to. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the guidance. No problem, man. Bless love, man. Put in A flat confirmation today. Wow, this is awesome. Appreciate that, y'all. I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing. Anytime I come on here, especially, I've been trying to do it, but especially now, I have no time to waste. I have no time to waste. If I'm going to come on here and share something with you, I'm going to share the truth. I'm gonna try to be as honest as I could possibly be with you about this stuff, because time out for just doing stuff that doesn't go anywhere. We need information. I know some of y'all come on here for me to play the bass, but I'm gonna tell you, I can't do anything if God didn't allow me to play a note with this instrument. You gotta have something more than that. You gotta have something more than that. So even beyond all these mechanics, thankfully God gave me several gifts. When I had my accident years ago, that kind of limited my options. I wasn't into sports, I wasn't into all this stuff, but he kind of, as a supplement or something like that, he gave me several things I could do in music. I could sing, I could play guitar, I could play keyboard, and I'm not saying this stuff to be bragging, I'm just saying because I was so limited in other areas, God gave me other things, and you have other things you can do as well. Some of y'all are great at sports, some of y'all are good at other things outside of music. But music, he kind of opened the floodgates with me in that area, because he know I missed out on so much other stuff. So if you take my ability to play away from me in terms of my hands, and that don't work, as long as this mouth can say something, I'm gonna give him everything I got. I'm gonna give him everything I got. So you could take a bass out of my hand and I'll still have something to say. You could take a guitar out of my hand, I'll still have something to say. You could take a keyboard away from me. You could take a set of drums away from me, and I still have something to say, because I'm grateful for everything, not just my musical ability, but I'm grateful for every single thing that he's done. And life will whoop you. Life will work on you. It'll whoop on your head, and it'll remind you that you need to be grateful. You will need to be grateful for every single thing that you have. So to whoever's watching this, whether you're watching it live or in the replay, don't get so high up on yourself. Don't get so caught up on you and your ability, because it can all be gone in a moment. Don't get so high in yourself that you forget to be grateful, because it's God who gives you these gifts. It's God who gives you the ability to gain wealth. Even in COVID, there are people who are blowing up. But if those people are not careful to acknowledge the one who's able to give them that stuff, it can all be over with. So just because you find somebody who's down today, don't look down on those people. You might find somebody who, they having a hard time because of COVID-19, but you don't know under the surface what they're doing. You don't know how they're praying. You don't know how they're spending time. You don't know how they're giving. You don't know how they're loving other people. And you know what I'm saying? You have to be really, really careful. You have to be really, really careful during this season. Sorry for that freezing up there. You have to be really, really careful during this season how you respond. I will leave you guys with this, and I know I've talked this. In this season, be careful to be thankful. Be thankful more than you complain. Be grateful more than you complain. Be grateful more than you complain. Mind your conversation. Mind the people you talk to, which means pay attention to the people that you're talking to in this season. Pay attention to the people who are in your ear in this season. Keep something positive before you in this season. The news media wants to give you all negativity. Don't co-sign it. Don't co-sign on negativity. Don't co-sign on the distractions. They're gonna come. That's the point. They're gonna keep coming. These distractions are gonna keep coming to the distractions are to come to throw you off. But don't let that throw you off. Keep the main thing the main thing. Seek out purpose more importantly than anything. You want to keep your motivation? Seek out purpose. What are you here for? What are you here for? Why are you here? Why are you here? Seek that out. Who am I here to help? Who am I here to help? You know what I'm saying? I'm ignoring whoever this is in the comments. You about to get blocked, but you got to make sure that you keep that positivity in front of you and keep your faith. Don't lose your faith during this season, and don't let people convince you to lose your faith, because that's a trick of the enemy. You know what I'm saying? That's a trick of the enemy. So don't lose your faith during this season. If I don't give you guys nothing else, don't lose your faith. Your bass playing, all that stuff is not important. As important as you think. You know what I'm saying? Don't lose your faith. All right? I just want to get on here and just kind of share some stuff. I know the title kind of got people like, hey, man, what you mean? What's the use of practicing? Yeah, you still practice. You still keep it going. Whatever your thing is, keep it going. Like, just don't give up. I know COVID has a lot of you guys down, and I sympathize, empathize with you. But don't give up. Be creative. Be resourceful. Look at what you have in your hand. A friend of mine and I was talking on yesterday. We talked about, y'all know I'm always referencing the Bible. That's one of my favorite books. You know, one of the stories in the Bible, one of the most influential and important stories in the Bible, talking about Moses leading the children of Israel when they got to the Red Sea, and they were being surrounded on every side by the Egyptians, by the Egyptian army, Pharaoh and his army. They were being surrounded on every side. Now think about it. In football or in another sport, if people are coming up right behind, you can kind of, fake to the left or go to the right, you know what I'm saying, and just get out of there. But in this particular situation, they were being surrounded on all sides. They had nowhere else to go. And so Moses is sitting there like, yo, like, we are surrounded. What are we going to do? God asked him, what do you have in your hand? So I'm going to say to you watching this video, you're surrounded. I mean, COVID is everywhere. Like, this pandemic is everywhere. Everybody is being affected. No country left out. We're all being affected by the same thing. And there's a lot of hopelessness. It looks like it's just doom and gloom everywhere. Your news media, your government, nobody has any answers. But I ask you, and I leave this thought with you, what do you have in your hand? Moses had a rod in his hand that that gave him the ability to perform miracles. He stretched it out, and the waters opened up. What do you have in your hand that you're not stretching out? What gifting, what idea do you have in your hand that God gave you a long time ago you never used? And you got so focused on what was surrounding you that you forgot to look at what was in your hand. Figuratively speaking, and sometimes literally speaking. What has you so clouded? What has you so scared that you're afraid to look in your hand and see what you got? Check your hands. Check your hands. You looking for motivation? Check your hands. You might say, man, what do you mean check my hands? Do this. Do they work? That's your motivation. All right? Check your hands. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. I thank you all so much for hanging with me during this time. And again, be encouraged, y'all. Be encouraged. This is temporary. This is a season, and it will end. All seasons change. One thing is for certain. Nothing is for certain. And change is inevitable. So, yeah. All right, if you want to know more about the one-on-one lessons with me, somebody asked, how can I get in touch? Send me an email, Jermaine at JermaineMorgan.net, JerMaine, just like it's spelled on Jermaine Morgan Base Lessons. Jermaine at JermaineMorgan.net. If you're interested in lessons, coaching calls, all that kind of stuff, simply visit JermaineMorgan.net. You can find all that information, how to get in contact with me there, how to connect with me, how to set up lessons with me. Wes, thank you so much, and everybody else that have left positive feedback, thank you. I seen your comments popping up, but to everybody, thank you so much for hanging with me today. And I pray that you all have a blessed and prosperous rest of your week. I'm out. I will be putting up more videos. And yeah, absolutely, Stephen. But yeah, more stuff to come. If you didn't catch my video on yesterday, I put up a video backing track. So y'all can have something to practice to that feels a little more live. So check that out as well. And I'll see y'all on the next video. All right. Take care. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's J Morgan Base. Twitter is J Morgan Base. And Facebook, Jermaine Morgan. Search Jermaine Morgan. You'll find me. All right. Y'all take care. I'm out. Peace.